Well, it's been a while since I've tackled this little series, hasn't it? I guess the plus side of this being is that my videos are less of a pile of dog feces, so, there's that. And, okay, you know, I don't even know why I'm making a big deal about, like, oh, it's been so long since the last part of this series. Like, nobody watched this in the first place. Hello everyone, this is Darren at GNB Productions, and today we are returning to the Sonic the Hedgehog Marathon / retrospective series, or whatever the heck you want to call it. If you aren't familiar with the way I review these games, basically what I'm doing is going through all of the mainline series Sonic games and seeing how most of them fare today. But, not only that, I'll also be looking at the other various games that I personally see as canon to the overall timeline. And one more little detail about this whole retrospective series is that I clearly either wasn't conceived when these games came out, or I didn't have the brain capacity to talk, let alone play a game for myself when these came out. So, for those set of games that I haven't played, I'll be going over everything except for the gameplay in particular, like the story, the voice acting, the art style, the music, etc. So, with all that explanation junk out of the way, let's hurry up and jump into a Sonic title that's still pretty divisive from what I've seen, Sonic Heroes. Now, this is one of those Sonic games that I never played, but it's one that I still have a lot to say about. I want to save the story for last because even though it's pretty simple and to the point, it's something that I have a lot to talk about, specifically because of how it contrasts to future Sonic stories. First, the art style and overall visuals of this game are freaking amazing. They were going for a more bright and colorful aesthetic so it could be reminiscent of the classic games, and I'd say they did a pretty good job at it. This game perfectly captures what a 3D version of the classic games would look like. I know that some of this game's best performances come from either PC or the GameCube, and saying that these visuals look great is a freaking understatement. I truly cannot give it justice. Although having this game take place in a world that clearly isn't Earth does start to raise up a few questions. Like, 1. How the heck did Sonic and Co. even get here? And 2. How the heck is the moon still intact? We can't just ignore the previous games because they clearly do exist because of Shadow's inclusion. And yes, I know about the whole two worlds theory, but that doesn't have enough explanation towards it for me to just give it a pass like that. Sonic Heroes' whole theme, I should say, is teamwork. And because of that, this game's gameplay is spread between 4 different teams. Team Sonic, Team Dark, the best Sonic the Hedgehog trio, Team Rose, and Team Chaotix. Each team has its own respective theme song, and I love each and every one of them. Team Sonic's theme is We Can, and considering that this game was made with kids primarily in mind, the lyrics are kinda cringe, but I feel like that it adds to the style of the game instead of taking away from it.
Yeah, we can make it, we
Team Dark's theme is This Machine. And I swear to you, I can never pick whichever one I like between Team Dark's theme and Team Chaotic's theme. Team Rose's theme, Follow Me, took me a while to grow accustomed to, mostly because this song is clearly Amy-centric, and Amy as a character is someone I have mixed opinions on. But other than that, I can consider it to be pretty good.
Follow me inside, outside, through the stratosphere, the moon is shining for you, knows that I adore you, suddenly all the sadness will just slip away, and you will see what I mean, if you just follow me in my dreams.
And Team freaking Chaotic's theme, called Team Chaotix, is one of those songs that are made for the sole purpose of just getting you hyped. Okay, let's finally get to that story. This story does kind of what the adventure games did, in that you get a different piece of the story as you play through each team's campaign. Team Sonic's story is about Eggman warning Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles about a plan that he'll enact in 3 days, so Sonic and Kel venture off to stop him. That's pretty much it. Now, some may question why Eggman warned Sonic about his plan, but that'll make a heck of a lot more sense in a bit. Sonic and Knuckles are voiced by the returning voice actors from the adventure games, and their performances are freaking perfect. This is the best sounding their voices have ever been. Except for Tails. In this game, he has a new voice actor, William Corkery, and his voice...
It's a fate? We've gotten till sunset, but it's so spooky here. What are we gonna do, Sonic? Hey look, it's Sonic! Sonic, check this out! Sonic, we only have 24 hours left! Sonic!
Sucks. It kinda sucks hard. Team Dark's story is Rouge hearing about some secret treasure hidden in one of Eggman's secret bases. She goes to investigate, but finds Shadow seemingly alive from his fall in Adventure 2. While there, she encounters a new E-Series robot, E123 Omega, the world's most powerful robot. He opens fire, and Shadow quickly pushes Rouge out of the way for her own safety. But he clearly did that for his own personal reasons, because he and Rouge aren't friends. Right, Sega? Team Dark never liked each other, they were never friends, and they definitely weren't friends throughout this game or any other future games. Right, Sega? Anyway, Rouge calms the two of them down, and we later find out that Omega wants revenge on Eggman for basically wasting his potential by locking him down here to guard Shadow. And Shadow apparently lost his memory from the fall he took in SA2. So all 3 of them team up together to get what they want. Shadow for his memory, Omega for revenge, and Rouge for the treasure. Shadow's characterization is something I want to touch on for a quick second. This version of Shadow's personality has got to be my favorite because he's not the token edgelord most people think he is. He's just a chill and laid-back dude who, yes, does tend to have some overconfidence, but still takes the time to enjoy the things around him. Omega is a character that I freaking adore. He's an angry, bloodlusting killing machine, and I cannot get enough of him. He gets such a kick out of destroying Eggman's robots that he's almost like a child in a friggin' candy store. Now, Omega is said to be the world's most powerful robot, and I know I'm not the only one who wants to see him fight Sonic. I mean, come on. He's said to be the world's most powerful robot, so why not properly test that out by having him fight Sonic? Omega is voiced by John St. John, the guy who also voices Big in this game. And this voice for Big is freaking perfect. I always felt that the perfect Omega voice would be a slight angrier and more auto-tuned version of RoboCop. I feel like that, to me, is the perfect Omega voice. Rouge, personality-wise, in this game is exactly the same as her SA2 counterpart. I honestly don't feel the need to go further into detail about her personality here. I just want to say that the bottom line about this group is their entire dynamic and relationship with each other. I'll get more into that when I discuss a later game, but for those of you who played these games, go ahead and tell me a better Sonic trio. Just go ahead and try! Team Rose's story is Amy, Cream, and Big looking for Sonic, who apparently have stolen Cream and Cheese's friend Chocola, a character that never makes an appearance after this except for the IDW comics, as well as Froggy. This little plot point will be explained later. Now, like I said before, Amy as a character is kind of complicated for me to talk about when it comes to my opinion on her. Like, I love Boom Amy and IDW Amy because they give her a lot more personality and plot relevance outside of just constantly wanting to suck Sonic's man-hog. But standard video game Amy, I never like all that much because her entire personality is...
I want him inside me.
Cream is one of the most adorable little turd nozzles to ever be put in a video game. I think it's really funny that this sweet little innocent child makes her way into life and death situations and always somehow makes it out alive with the help of her little blue demon friend right there. And no, I don't mean the Blue Devil. Big in this game is fine. He's just okay. His voice still pisses me clean off, but he doesn't have a big place in the story like he did in SA1, so bottom line, Big the Cat as a character, he's fine. He's okay. I don't feel strongly one way or the other about him, he's just... And here we are. Team freaking Chaotix. Their story is that they get a job from a mysterious figure who wants them to free him from Dr. Eggman's battleship. These three are the most comedic and enjoyable Sonic characters in any Sonic story. I don't see how anyone couldn't like them. Most of my memory of these guys are from the Sonic X anime, and I couldn't get enough of those guys. They seem like incompetent goofballs, but later entries and even the comics really commend them as good detectives. Now, Eggbotnik in this game is just as great as the previous titles, even though he technically isn't in most of it. And now I feel like it's time that I explain a few things about this little plot that's going on with this game. So, remember in the opening when Eggbotnik sent out that message telling Sonic & Co. about his plan? That actually isn't Eggbotnik. And remember when Amy was reading a newspaper that showed Sonic kidnapping Chocola and Froggy? That wasn't Sonic! And you know the mysterious figure that sent the Chaotix to go save them from Eggbotnik's battleship? That actually was Eggbotnik, who was trapped on his own battleship. Now, if Eggbotnik was trapped this entire time, who have our heroes been fighting for this entire game? None other than freaking Metal Sonic! Now, if you were really paying attention during the opening sequence, you pretty much already knew what was going on. But if you just hurried up and clicked through it to get to the game, this is a legitimately clever twist. Metal betrayed Eggbotnik once he upgraded him to his Neo Metal Sonic form, and he attempted to turn the entire world into a mechanical monarch for him and him only to rule. But first, he needed more power. So, he absorbed the biodata of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, shadowed the freaking Hedgehog, and Chaos out of Froggy, because, if you remember, Froggy did come into serious contact with Chaos during the events of Adventure 1. And, with all that power combined, he shall finally become... Captain Planet! What? No, get the trash out of here! No, Metal Overlord. This game's writing is way more clever than people give it credit for. Not just Metal Sonic's absolutely genius plan, but the comedic moments between teams as well. This game is legitimately funny at times. This game's story is the best example of what a story for kids should be. Games like Colors or Lost World really don't add anything to the table and typically treat its child audience like they're freaking morons. This game's story is suited towards kids and does so without treating it like all kids are like Ralph freaking Wiggum. And the whole power of teamwork element of the game is really pushed by the end, and I kid you not, this line is so freaking hilarious.
We'll show that creep the real superpower of teamwork!
This game's story, plain and simple, is just written by people who A, know what they're doing, and B, just want to have fun. And that's the best way to describe this story in general. It's just simple and fun. That's it. They're not trying to cram the friendship message like down your throat like a later game that I'll get to eventually. They know what they're doing, they know the type of story that they're supposed to do, and they're just having fun with it. I also really love how these cutscenes look. Instead of using the in-game models like other Sonic games, Sonic Heroes uses pre-rendered CGI for its cutscenes. I really love this because these models are so expressive, and it really makes this game stand out when compared to the rest in the series. The in-game renders are really good too, but I wish Sega come back and possibly do cutscenes like these in the near future, because while the current in-game models are alright, they just don't have the amount of fluidity and expressiveness like these cutscenes or even Rise of Lyric. And yes, I said something positive about Rise of Lyric. Overall, without discussing the gameplay, Sonic Heroes has really good visuals, outstanding music, really fun characters, and a story that not enough people acknowledge for how enjoyable it is. So, now that I've tackled one of Sonic's most promising stories, let's take a deep-on dive into one of its most disappointing stories, that being Shadow the Hedgehog. First things first, that opening. Now this opening is freaking amazing, and I mean that ironically and unironically. Shadow the Hedgehog holding a machine gun while riding on a motorcycle and mowing down a bunch of aliens in his path. That is freaking hilarious. And yep, you heard me correctly. Shadow the Hedgehog is officially packing heat. That has got to be one of the most hilarious sentences I have ever said in my entire life. Now, Sega, after seeing the ever-growing popularity of Shadow the Hedgehog, decided to give him his very own video game. Now, I have no clue as to why they thought it was a good idea to give Shadow a gun. I mean, giving Shadow a gun is like making a movie with one of the main plot elements being to frame Superman for shooting a bunch of random people in the middle of a desert. That's freaking hilarious. Now I'm actually going to start off with the story in this part because neither the game itself or the story have that much to offer. So I'm sorry if this particular section of the video isn't that long, it's just that this game doesn't really do that much for me. What's crazy is that if you really think about it, this entire game's story doesn't matter because the only story beats that really matter is the beginning where Shadow meets Black Doom and the ending. That's literally it. Everything in between is just some pointless filler that basically serves as some kind of what-if scenario. I mean, there's an ending where Shadow uses the Chaos Emeralds to take over the world. There's an ending where Shadow kills Sonic. There's an ending where Shadow kills Eggman. There's an ending where Shadow kills Sonic and Eggman. There's also an ending where Shadow contemplates on whether he should live or not, or whether he should have been created in the first place. Don't you dare cut back to me. Do you think I would joke like that? I feel so bad for the people who played through this game almost through its entirety, getting all these different endings, unlocking all these different things, getting these different portrayals of Shadow, only for it to not matter in the end, and then after all of that, you just get the real canon story ending anyway. What's also crazy is this game's tone. This game takes itself way more seriously than it ever should be, and the amount of contrived plot holes and inconsistencies when it comes to previous games is astounding. And Shadow's portrayal in this game, I cannot put into words how much I hate this version of Shadow. I go more into detail about this in another video that you should definitely check out. For the love of God, just please watch my video. Making Shadow this blatant edgelord type of character really infuriates me. Especially when in the previous game he acted nothing like this. And it makes it even more dumb to include a morality system, when in Sonic Heroes, I'm pretty sure that he was not that morally ambiguous. But I would be lying if I said that this particular part wasn't cool. Okay, so let's finally address the elephant in the room, the new voice cast. Now, unfortunately, when the English version of Sonic X came around, they hired different voice actors from the ones that were in the games currently. So Sega, instead of continuing to use the game voices, they decided to use the voices from the English version of Sonic X. So that means Sonic and Shadow are not voiced by Ryan Drummond and David Humphrey. They are instead voiced by Jason Griffith. And I honestly don't hate Griffith's Sonic or Shadow voice. I honestly find it kind of cool that they're both voiced by the same person.
Shadow, why? Why are you siding with them? Those black creatures just warped the comet down to the surface using Chaos Control! Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds. Now, I can uncover the truth about my past. Shadow the Hedgehog. Why does that name haunt me? It's the only thing I can remember, and that gruesome image.
Dan Green's Knuckles voice is okay. He gives Knuckles this grizzled, tough guy voice that he honestly doesn't improve on until later games. The whole grizzled, tough guy voice thing isn't a bad thing for Knuckles per se, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm a lot more accustomed to the more laid-back and chill voice that Scott Dreyer had in SA2 and Heroes. I feel like both voices match the character pretty well, but I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, let's do this! I'll crush that cosmic rock ball! Hey! Get back here, you creep!
But Tails clearly got castrated in between games because what the heck happened to his voice?
He did it! The Black Comet is destroyed!
I would honestly take the nasally sounding Tails over this in particular, because at least the nasally sounding Tails from Sonic Heroes sounded like a boy. Amy's voice, I cannot stand. I hated it in Sonic X, and I hate it in these games too. Amy wasn't always my favorite character, but they somehow make me hate her even more because of this really high-pitched and really annoying voice.
Good job, Shadow. Yeah, keep going. That's what you get for getting in our way. Just leave the robots alone. I feel bad for those poor things. Hey, they're not hurting anyone. Well, did you find her?
Rouge's new voice actress is okay. Acting-wise, she's freaking amazing, but the voice itself, I don't know. It sounds a bit too old for a character who I'm pretty sure is supposed to be 18, and I feel like it leans a bit too hard on the seductive side, personally to me.
Hey, they're on our side. Stop that. Stop attacking our allies. Not bad. Guess that's why they call you the ultimate life form. I knew we could count on you. Okay, let's go. Almost there. Time for a showdown.
But trust me, it's nowhere near as bad as it gets in later games. I don't know what it is with games and cartoons and stuff that try to convince us that we want to have sex with animals. Because I don't know about you in particular, but me personally, I do not want to have sex with an animal. The new voices for the Chaotix are all fine enough, except for Vector in particular.
SBO? Are you in yet?
Quiet, Charmy! SBO, we need you to focus, because if we don't hurry, all the data we recovered will be lost!
Easier said than done. Who signed me up for this anyway?
The voice he had in Sonic Heroes was fine enough, but I don't know why they decided to tone up his voice that much in this game. Every time he speaks, I literally cannot help but laugh my arse off.
I am Shadow the Hedgehog, a research experiment gone deadly wrong. I've caused so much destruction. I should never have been created. This is who I am.
Hey, don't go there! Yet, things may not be what they seem. You could be... Find the computer room!
Mike Pollock voices Eggman in this game, and he's freaking amazing.
Those idiots! They're destroying everything! How can I take over this city and build the Eggman Empire if there is no city? I'm at my limit. I have no choice. Send in the Eggman fleet. Charge!
That can't be! He betrayed his own people for research? For Black Doom?
I still do think Dean Bristow did a better job at handling the goofy yet intimidating side of the character respectfully, but Mike Pollock leans heavily into the comedy side of Eggman and leaves very little room for intimidation factor. The last new voice we have is the one for Omega, who, I shall remind you, is barely in the game, by the way. He does a pretty much perfect job when it comes to replicating John St. John's voice from Sonic Heroes.
Eggman, I will defeat you once and for all.
The cutscenes in this game are pretty good, honestly. They use the in-game models from Sonic Heroes majority of the time, with only using pre-rendered CGI once in a while. And when they do use CGI, it looks phenomenal. And I already talked about how I like the in-game models from Sonic Heroes, so using them the majority of the cutscenes in this game don't really bother me that much. I would have loved for them to use more pre-rendered CGI cutscenes a heck of a lot more, because they look that good. Surprisingly though, this game's visual art style isn't really that appealing. Surprisingly, for the first time in any Sonic game, these levels just don't look all that fun to me. Maybe I'm wrong because, again, I have not played this game, but whenever I'm watching gameplay of it, it honestly looks sleep-inducing. And that's honestly a shame because of the last game you got, Sonic Heroes. I would practically beg to be able to run around all these various locations and play this game. I don't know, I just honestly can't get into these. Except for Digital Circuit. That's the only one that looks kind of appealing. Another surprising thing is that this game's soundtrack is just as forgettable and boring. I kid you not, I only remember 4 tracks from this game. The main theme, I Am, the music for Digital Circuit, Waking Up, and the SA2 Eggman remix. Anything else is completely forgettable. Overall, this game's story was a complete mess. It had no reason to exist, it completely undermines the previous entries, and blatantly was a complete mistake on Sega's part. It takes itself way too freaking seriously, the voice acting is average at best, the soundtrack is sleep-inducing, the art style is boring, and if you like this game, cool. Once again, I cannot properly judge the gameplay because I haven't played it, but if you got serious enjoyment out of this story in particular, I am very proud of you. Anyway, if you disagree with anything I've said, let me know right down there in the comments below. Also be sure to like and subscribe. This is Darren at GNB Productions, and take care.